Hello, everyone, and welcome to RHAP. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and we are here to flippin' talk to you about our flippin' executive episode of flippin' Big Brother Canada flippin' 12. What an episode we got tonight, and we'll be talking through it all. With me to talk through it all here on a Wednesday night eviction is Sasha. How you doing, Sasha?
Listen, so good. But before we do that, chat, you need to say happy birthday to Taran. You can't do anything else, okay? It's a big day. Look at him. It's a late night birthday party. That's what we're actually doing.
You guys wouldn't reject me in the chain, right?
Not on your birthday.
Give me the executive veto.
I don't know. You can go.
Also with us here tonight is Chappell. How you doing, Chappell?
Hey, I'm good. I'm excited to celebrate #Taran's birthday. One of the biggest Big Brother events that will go down in history, like all the other famous birthdays that we have. Taran, you should be very proud that you get such a great moment like this to solidify your status as a Big Brother legend.
Yeah, they really were like, all right, terrible episode after terrible episode. Let's just trash a whole week, throw it in the garbage, and give us just one good one, just for Taran's birthday.
Happy damn birthday. Happy birthday. On my damn birthday. On my Taran's birthday. In front of
Anybody
my
want
Taran.
cake? What's
Yeah.
That's what happened today.
They really were just like, all right, remember the 12 hours of drops that we gave you on Tuesday and the whole week of campaigning and the back and forth and the what the flip? None of that matters. This is what matters, this episode.
I personally am very happy that they did that because I was asked to come on this recap and I've been having a really hard time keeping up with what's going on because we don't get our daily morning Terrans updates. And so the one time I have to come, we just throw those out the window and say, now let's just talk about this one episode because it is happening completely in a bubble thanks to a very weird challenge, leading to a weird veto, and I'm okay with it. I enjoyed this entire episode. Very happy to be here.
Yes. This really was like, in my mind, one of the most fortuitous like circumstances that could have happened for the show. This like with everything that happened, like with how Vivek betrayed Dennis last week. Coming into this week and the way that this week played out, not only did we get like the executive stuff, but we even got to start this episode with Goose's flippity flip talk, outing Spicy V, and Spicy V freaking out, and all of the drama that caused, coming into the executive veto situation where, of course, Spicy V ends up holding the executive veto, completely ruining Goose's HOH, while at the same time sliding the knife right in the back of Vivek, who she did help convince to betray his closest ally. In fact, using the fact that he did that for her ostensibly to help like solidify the killing.
Not the killing.
and then he's betrayed just like Dennis was, with the emotion on his face, and then every single one of them standing up and saying his name. He's literally in tears as Bailey goes, "Yeah, you were always my true enemy, Vivek." Like, this is wild.
It was so good. Listen, I'm sad. Representation is gone, but it don't matter. It's fine. It's fine. He deserved it. Bye. Horrible fool. What are you doing? And then, then he started crying. Somebody should have been like, stand up. Stand up.
Sasha, he hugged all those people on the way out. I'd rather have dissolved into just
do the Heisman. Leave.
move it. You know,
And that immediate.
could never let these people touch me. Taran, I have been like I told you, I haven't been really tapped in, but I have been like just ferociously refreshing my Twitter timeline. I've been stalking Dennis's Twitter for the last hour and a half, and the man has says nothing until now. He just posted a meme of himself sipping tea with the quote, "You are next, Dennis."
Evil, and I love
It's
it.
finally here. I've been
You
waiting
are
for this
next.
moment.
You're next.
It's for me, it's just the way Vivek just looked in his eyes and said, I am not next. I am not next. I will not be going next. It's like, but maybe you are. Like I feel like the producers, Arissa's sitting at home like, how can we get this to happen? You know, Goose wins, but what if we really made him next? You know, people aren't really loving not having the live feeds. How do we bring some excitement back into Big Brother? Let's just give them a little pound of flesh. Let's give them something to chew on for a little bit and distract them from the fact that we have essentially changed the game and screwed over somebody in such a big way. I mean, this is it's a great television moment, but this is an awful twist for Vivek. Like nothing, like the man did not deserve this. I mean, he did for what he did to Dennis, but in the game, come on, man. If this was anybody else, I'd be like, what the hell just happened?
Listen, both things can be true. Okay. And
Yes.
that is what happened. It's the way I was like, oh, shucks, representation. But no, I didn't even care. I said, bye. He got to go. The boneheaded move. But y'all, what will the chat look like? Can you imagine him walking into the going home chat, the pre-jury chat? Everyone just like celebrating, throwing, all kinds of celebration happening. And Vivek is just like shrugs. I'm here.
Well, I mean, this really did. It came out of left field, I think, for Vivek, for us. I mean, it was really looking like, the who's going to win the game curse was really just like coming in strong again. Janine said Donna. Donna said Dennis. Dennis said Tola, who was up on the block, and there was talk of tying up the vote, and Goose would break the vote and take out Tola, and it was like, okay, but there was another curse. And I even talked to Dennis about it in his exit interview. I said, Dennis, there is another curse. I'm just putting it out there that Pooya's draft curse.
Oh, no.
Can I just explain the people that Pooya has on his draft team? Because
Pooya, break it down.
Pooya picked Janine. He picked Dennis.
Promising.
He picked Donna. And
okay.
There's one more person. Who was it again, Pooya?
It's Pooya! Oh no, it's Pooya's music.
Wait, go back out. Taran, please play the like flippity flip, and then Pooya has to come in.
No, Pooya, I'm sorry, it had to be
Bring the belt.
Listen, there's a first time for everything, and my God,
what a time!
Is this a shambles? Let me tell you this. Let me be honest. When I tuned in, because I was supposed to be on the pod tonight, but I have a bit of a sore throat, so I was like, let me opt out. When I tuned in to watch the episode, I was tuning in fully being like, well, at least I didn't like get wiped out in one go. Fast forward to mid-episode when I realized that I'm going to lose everybody. So it's a sad state of affairs, but like you said, Sasha, I'm very okay with it. You know what I mean? One on Twitter was like, is this worse or is the double grenade worse? I was like, at least with the double grenade, there's not a sour taste of I had the winner and couldn't win. I can just be hopeless now and just root for Amon's downfall like I do every season anyway.
The thing is, Pooya, as an Asian man, what did you expect besides going out first? That's what I have.
Listen, every time we've got Asian representation on our show, Sasha and I are texting about them, and every time it's shambolic, we're like, all right, next time. On to the next one.
That's exactly. I almost texted you. Listen, what did you expect?
This really was like one of those like memes where just like it seemed like everything was actually going to be fine. It honestly, genuinely seemed like this was going to be Todd. Like, let's clear this up. This was going to be Todd. Both curses were going to be broken, and Todd was going to go. And then the Pooya curse was just like, wait, hold on.
I've got one more shot in me.
I'm sorry, I can't breathe. This was Pooya.
So bad.
I hate that it had to happen to you, but honestly, we needed that. We really did need that jolt of just that's the thing I think that we used to love in old classic Big Brother. It was, of course, like the strategy and stuff, but the reason people like seasons like Big Brother 6 is because when one side wins, the other side gets revenge. And then it's like, okay, this person went from on the block to HOH, give me that key, that kind of stuff. That is the stuff we really appreciate. And so for a while throughout this episode, it just felt like we weren't going to get that anymore. We don't get that enough on Big Brother Canada. But this season, people can say whatever they want. This has been a wild and crazy season. Like, no one can could see this man turning on his number one ally, leaving him for dead. The house just like basically just like throwing the guy to the wolves. And then in a world where he would have been normally safe, production just stepped in and said, keep the party going. I can't be mad at what we got.
Yeah. I did have the thought that maybe we should implement like a shoot the moon rule. We can call it the Pooya rule, where
if you get your whole team wiped out, you win automatically.
Exactly.
Oh, I love that. I love it.
Listen, let's be honest here. Recency bias will forever take over. No one's going to want to be on my team. People are going to see who I draft. And let me tell you this, audience, I'm picking all your favorites. So you tweet out who you're rooting for when you see the bios. I'm picking them. So you can be worried. Because again, the resume doesn't matter. All the old wins don't matter. It's this season, and this season was shambolic.
Listen, we're here for Dougie and the NPCs. So like you didn't have a chance anyway. It's all NPCs. So it's just a cute little razzle dazzle until we know what the end is gonna be.
Should we talk about the fact that this is the second time in Anthony Douglas's Big Brother career that like somebody went home that he didn't want to go home? And it's the second twist that made it happen. Like both times a twist made it happen.
Yeah, Taran. So I am not familiar with the Pretty Boys run during their Anthony's first season. Could you break down exactly what was going on with the twist that time?
Well, similarly, there was, I believe it was like the assassination power or something along those lines that Adam found in one of those side rooms. And he used it to take out Anthony's like main minion, Corey. And Anthony was pissed. And it similarly, I think, happened like at the last second, like at a meeting or something. And just like that, yeah, no more Corey.
Yeah, but is anybody going to be mad about this eviction? Like, is Anthony going to care about? I'm sorry, it's like he was begging for this. Yeah, the body is not even cold yet, Sasha, and I'm already tap dancing on this man's grave. I don't have an issue with him as a Big Brother player, but it's just something to be said when someone has to come to you and say, this isn't Big Brother's next best friend, man. You can't do what's right for Big Brother. When you have to stand in front of everybody and say, I threw my game away to save people. Boom, there's your sentence. I threw my game away. Once you have to say that is not you can't use that to plead to me to now save you. You threw your game away. I enjoy mine. I like my allies. I don't want to vote them out. Sorry, Vivek. You didn't want this.
Right. I mean, that's the thing with that argument is saying I did this for all of you. All you've proven is that if you become my closest ally, you are expendable to me if everyone else says to do it. Why would I do that? I mean, aside from the fact that the veto's not been used, you've been put on the block, so the odds of you staying are very slim, and then it's a public vote? Yeah, goodbye. You should have just picked up your bag and gone to the front the minute you found out it was going to be public, because no one's going to do this vote against the house to the face of the house. That's never going to happen.
The public vote. I'm sorry. I'm getting my... Whew, I'm aroused. Okay, y'all.
And on that note, I'm gonna leave.
Brother.
I'm gonna leave. I did want to just stop in here because I knew people wanted to get their licks in, and also say happy birthday to Taran, and also say hi to my friends Sasha and Chappell. I appreciate all of you. Enjoy the rest of the recap. Friend? I mean, listen, Chappell, drink some water. All right, bye everybody.
Yeah.
Look, I'm less aroused now that he's gone, Taran, but I still want to get to my point.
Oh my God.
I just think it's poetic for Pooya to be here to talk about essentially what we got was the traitors callback in this episode. Have we ever seen Big Brother do anything like this in any iteration? Like since when are we just writing that? Since when do you write names down in Big Brother? That feels weird.
I think they did do something similar in like BBCAN12 or something, but very uncommon in Big Brother to have a public vote like this.
But the perfect time, Sasha, the perfect time for
Yeah.
something like this. Yeah. Say it to his face.
So embarrassing. But here, the thing is, right? Stand up, Vivek, right? First, it started with him. He's trying, trying to sit there and be like, you gotta vote, you gotta vote to keep me, you gotta vote. And then Todd comes in, looks him in the eye and says, at least I believe Tola's word. It's I would have walked out.
I would have got up
you
and
not
just
voting
jumped.
me. you the thing is, you will not vote and embarrass me at this point. No one will embarrass me more than I have embarrassed myself. You see what I'm saying? And that's why he should have stood up and took his ass, started packing, and just left. And don't vote for me. I quit.
Yeah, I quit.
I don't
It's
need
fine.
the money. How much is the money? 2 winners outfits instead of 1. Be serious.
You get some of that a skip. Is that what it's called? You get some
skip
some
myself out the game. Let me skip out of here. No, the thing is, don't let nobody put a clown nose on you, Vivek. And the fact that, but then he stayed, right? Because Delulu, I worked so hard. Dougie saved me. NPC, stop. And then he starts crying. No, what is this? Why?
Listen, the guy's been through a lot at this point.
He did it to himself.
Just because you do it to yourself doesn't mean you're not going through it.
He's like, am I the drama? Is it me?
If anything, the fact that he did it to himself makes it worse, I think. It's like harder to bear,
Yeah, it's the best part. I'm telling you, I would have ripped my skin off and thrown it into a furnace before I let those people hug me. Are you kidding me? Hugging me as I'm begging for my life? I think all double evictions should be like this. I think you should have to say it to their face. You should have to look them dead in the eye. Take me back to Big Brother when I think, is it Judd who goes out in a double and everybody's like, we can't really just vocalize why you have to go out, Judd, but it's you. And Judd's like, wait, but
the fact
Andy,
that we're all crying about it is why you need to go.
Right. They're like, we can't put in words why it's you, but it has to be you. And Judd's like, wait, Andy, Gina Marie, Alyssa, anybody? And they're like, I'm sorry. Like, I just wish they, at that point, Julie Chen comes in and says, okay, everybody have a seat. Pull out your pen and paper. Just hold it up.
Everyone take out your Sharpie. We're going to write the votes in on the bear shirt. Pass it around.
Oh, do this more. Arissa, if you're listening to this, keep this. A lot of new stuff in this episode for me as far as this executive veto. I was like, okay. And then, this boring. Live vote. Yeah, but like, what was it? The rejection chain? That's new too, I think.
Yeah, before we get to that, I do want to just also touch on Todd, the cold-blooded killer who stood up and just roasted Vivek before signing his death warrant. Like, why would anybody trust this guy? His word means nothing. He betrayed his closest. Vivek. Which, by the way, is why, like, and here's the thing. There's not many things I'll say this about with Big Brother Canada over BBUS these days, but, like, this is why this is a lot better than what BBUS does nowadays, which is, like, my first nominee is... my second, like, this is better. This is better.
No, but can we talk about how Todd is getting the like lights are on, no one's home edit, and then all of a sudden he needs to pay whatever winnings he gets to whoever came up with the executive veto twist, because the way his stock did a 180, right? You're just like dead in the water. It's giving nothing, like, not the brightest crayon, whatever you want to say about Todd. And then all of a sudden, drama. He was so good.
No, perfect. I've been frustrated with Todd throughout this entire season because I'm like, okay, yes, he's boring. And yes, he's also very, like, he moves very slowly when it comes to like these, like, hey, Todd, we need you to go talk to somebody. It's like, oh, okay. He's kind of moseys, like, Todd, You're on the block, huh? What? You got to get up and get in the chair, Todd. What? Who? Me? Okay, fine. And so I'm like, why do we have a Todd here? But then when you get moments like this, like you were saying, Sasha, he took the chance to just be like, I really got to give that shout out to Dennis. And here I am like, how do I vote for Canada's favorite house guest? Like, how do I do that? Because I think my vote
Wait, who are the folks that always vote like for the Martys and the Todds? I don't know which region of Canada, but
the Newfoundlands. It's
thank
us.
you.
Yes.
Me. Me.
It's me.
Send me the shirt. Send me whatever you need. I will now be something for my guy.
Oh, fan favorite Todd. I love him. I love him.
Me in Newfoundland.
Yes.
So let's talk about this. So I opened the podcast. I said this is like a great confluence of events that led to this. I think the storyline fits very well, and things played out in a way that really made it pop. That said, I do think that this twist, it's one of those things, right? We talk about twists a lot on the podcast. There's always a chance that they do something exciting. And I think that when they come up with the idea for twists, they have something like this in mind. But you put this on, 10 seasons, 9 of the seasons, this is going to be a total flop. Like this was guaranteed to fall into the hands of the majority, who then basically get a coup d'etat. Like I will only use this on you if you choose to do what I want. But like, let's say there's a majority alliance. The minority somehow won this HOH, has 2 people from the majority on the block. This twist guarantees somebody from the majority gets that veto. They then get to use it on one of their allies. They then get to replace that person with somebody from the minority, probably the HOH's own ally, and then send that person home. And well, look at that. Now that person probably can't even compete in the next HOH. Not to mention the fact that there's a lot of scenarios where this doesn't even get used at all, if things are just already going the way that they really want it to. So I don't know that it was the most well thought out thing, but I think given the circumstances and how they did allow for something interesting to happen, I like the concept of limited time, do the campaigns, everything in front of everyone. I think that all worked really well.
There was a moment where I was watching the episode thinking, when the majority or when Spicy V or Dougie ultimately get the chance to control this thing, is there a world where they don't use it? And I started thinking, it's probably a lot cleaner to just be like, no, it's fine. One of these people is going, it's okay. Of course, obviously the poetry of going after Vivek is like right there. And I'm like, okay, I kind of want that. But if we had sat through this whole thing and Victoria had just said, no, I'm good, I would have rioted. I'd have walked out. I was like, you know what? I have a sore throat too, Pooya. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to make it because it would have been so boring. I think I kind of hope maybe next time, I think it should be mandatory that they have to use it. If everybody refuses to reject you, cool. Now show us what you're going to do with that ability. You know what I'm saying? You just sitting by and being like, I just want to play the middle. It would have been boring and also a waste of an episode. So I'm glad she used it. I just want them to make sure that she uses it or that whoever gets it in the future has to use it next time.
Yeah. And I think that like many twists, I think the concept and what they're going for, what we got was fun. And I think that especially a season like this is what we're looking for. I think there are probably better ways of achieving a more consistent result that's like this than what we probably could have gotten. But hey, I'm glad that we got what we did. We got lucky, so I don't think we need to dwell on the fact that we could have gotten very unlucky. Just worth pointing out. But man, again, it was just again, we've barely even touched on all of the Goose stuff and how this I can only imagine the amount of F-bombs being dropped, flip bombs, by poor Goose after this whole executive meeting.
Yeah.
It's crazy because we got the whole he's still angry, he's throwing people under the bus, blah 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 blah. But I feel like he's gonna just get back in line, and he's not gonna he's gonna give us a good little diary session or a good 1-to-1. But outside of that, the directors are just like, okay, we're all gonna stand in line because it still worked out for us. Aw, shucks. That's what I get from Goose, and that's why he pisses me off.
Flip
It did-
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flip you too.
Yeah. He's trying to get your rear end out of the game, and this is what y'all do to him. I think I agree with Sasha. It feels like a lot like in most games where they have all stars or returning players, people always just seemingly like, okay, let me just get back in line. And whether that's a good strategy or not, who knows all the time. Because I mean, you going against them vocally will get you put out very quickly. So you gotta be covert about that. But I mean, it's really hard to be covert if you have to be an HOH, nominate 2 people, essentially get backstabbed and not be able to get your target out anyway, and then go on a whole rant about how the whole how the whole house is betraying you and how you couldn't deal with all these flipping people and all this other stuff, only for the producers to say, now let's take all that away from you. That was all for naught. All you got this week was safety, and you have shown your hand to everyone. So I'm kind of concerned about Goose now because people should be, I mean, rightfully, concerned about him too. Look at him. He just showed his whole hand for no reason. You want to know who threw their game away? Goose did the moment he won HOH.
Well, also, can we talk about, unless I missed it or they didn't put it in the edit, but Goose should be the first person going up to V and being like, hey, what are we going to do? Let's work together. We're in an alliance. La, 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 la. No, he's just like pacing around. Oh no, the world's gonna happen to me. What shall I do? What can poor old me do? It's like, use the leverage that you have as HOH. At least talk to these people. But the fact that a lot of these players are just kind of like letting the game happen to them instead of playing the game bothers me so much. Like, how are you the HOH and not going to talk to the veto holder? It just doesn't, it's not computing.
Yeah. It's speaking of, I think the star player here was Bailey, who I think we talk about this all the time in like double eviction scenarios, in these kinds of situations where things are moving quickly and discussions are being had and decisions are being made. Get in there. Stay on top of people. Don't just let things happen to you. And if Bailey had sat back, I think this very easily would have been Tola off the block and potentially her on the block and gone. Like, this was almost Bailey's episode to go. And I think she's directly responsible for making sure that didn't happen. Now, I don't think that's what Spicy ever would have wanted, but I do think that if she had taken Tola off the block, I think Tola would have named Bailey, and I think they would have sent her home. They wouldn't have had the votes to save her.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that's what we were getting, the like really exciting setup for that. Oh no, someone is finally gonna lie in this house and stand up and do something that isn't with what everyone else, like, will be the salmon swimming upstream. But Bailey, shout out to you. She saved her. And the thing is, she wasn't even just like begging, right? She was coming with receipts, screenshots. She said, he just took me out of the game. You cannot take him down and believe him. It's just, that's the hard and cold facts, because this is the first time I feel like Anthony wanted something and it didn't happen, right? And I feel like that was Bailey. Bailey saying, no, it doesn't matter. This is what's going to happen. He already showed his cards. And that's why I personally wasn't the fan of the chain of rejection, chain of safety, because the people at the bottom don't really have a choice. Like, they're out, they're losing. But the fact that Bailey just got to go up and really fight, I love that. And it was needed.
Yeah, she made a fan out of me on this episode for sure. Especially when you contrast that with Tola being awful at what he was trying to do. Because he comes to Victoria, he's like, all right, Bailey, right? And she's like, nope. And he's like, Bailey? She's like, oh, I could do Bailey, but she'll never forgive me. She'll kill me. He's like, so not Bailey. She's like, no. Like, if you're gonna take out Bailey, like, no, we can't. It can't be you. And he's like, oh, well, I won't take out Bailey.
Yeah,
really?
Tola's like, oh yeah, I gotcha. Not Bailey.
Not Bailey. She's like, no,
really?
Not Bailey. He's like, sure.
I will say, that you told me not Bailey. Just say I lied to you.
Yeah, he
It's
was
like, but I don't actually want that.
Yeah. And he was very much like, oh, like you really don't want. Oh, so if you pick me and I didn't choose, like if I did pick Bailey, that would be like a betrayal, right? Like no one would suspect that, right? Like no, yeah, pick me, I got it.
And then later she's like, sorry, I got to do Todd because it's got to be Vivek. And he's like, let me take the shot. She's like, this is why I need to do Todd.
And she's like, shot on who? What do you mean?
Yeah. He's like, put me in the game. She's like, why? It needs to be me. Why? Because I want to take out Todd. She's like, are you sure? He's like, I really want to take out Bailey. She said, this is why I can't do it. I was like, Tola, come on, man. Taran, he was a wall facer who didn't want to be one. He was like, no, I'm completely out. Like, wait, I'm not doing this. It's not me. They're like, sure, Jen. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy. There was another move that was made tonight that I really liked, which was during the rejection ceremony chain, whatever. Really, if you think about this, the decision was made as soon as Goose picked Tola instead of Todd. Because with Tola being eliminated first, with a basically even split house, it meant that it was going to go back and forth, ping pong back and forth, and it would have landed on Spicy regardless. However, there was a decision made, and I don't know if this decision was made because she already knew the final outcome and that it wouldn't matter in the first place, or if she just didn't care about the final outcome and decided a symbolic gesture would be worth it anyway. But Lexus chooses to reject Matt instead of rejecting Spicy v. Kayla or Avery, which is, I think, just a great call, especially when you consider the fact that it wouldn't have made a difference if she chooses, say, Kayla chooses Matt chooses Avery then chooses between Anthony and Spicy, and it still goes to Spicy. So what she did was basically there's been so much like speculation and tension between Lexus and the other women that she's not with them, that she's choosing Matt over them. And so for her to like literally reject Matt in favor of them, I think was a great symbolic gesture. Who knows if it'll stick? I think that we saw in the episode that they were like, oh, thank you for doing that. You know, I'm sure it won't take very, very much math for them to realize that it didn't really matter and that she might have known that. But still, I think just an easy call to make in that moment. And she made it.
Yeah.
Lesser showmances would not have made that decision. I think that's the cool thing about it, is that we've seen people who are very obviously like, I'll pick my fave. We're like, we know. And then they're shocked when people target them. But we've also seen showmances make it really far because they're able to, against all odds, convince people that they're not working together. Like, yeah, we're dating, but I don't actually want to go to the end with that person. Are you crazy?
Yeah, Larsa and MJ, right? So good. Yeah.
It almost never happens. And so, this time her at least trying that is a positive, because who knows? Somebody might be dumb enough to believe that is not the case,
We heard someone say that, right? Or maybe they were saying it to her face.
Yeah, they said it to her in the episode. It's in the moment. It's one of those things. Yeah. And like they've had this happen before. Like, oh, we talked to Lexus and it's actually fine. And then like a few days later, it'll be like, actually, no, we still hate her. So
oh, girls, I can't.
The girls. Woo! They're doing it again, Sasha.
Don't start this. Let's move. We move.
So this really was a pretty big win for the women who were about to lose Todd. And it's primarily a win because like I think the way that Spicy will play this is like, I just got swept up in the moment. I don't even know. I thought I had to use it for a long time, and then I didn't realize until too late that I shouldn't. And then by that point, I had already said Vivek's name so much that I thought I had to follow through with it. And it was just a big mess. And oh, whoopsie, I accidentally get to keep Todd and took out Vivek. Oh, well.
And no one's sad about Vivek going home. That's the thing. No one is sad about it. So they're kind of like, well, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. We were going to get him eventually. It's cool, girl. Like, Victoria gets away with this, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I was so overwhelmed. I was so swept up. She is just, I mean, like, there's a lot to probably be desired about some of her strategic moves. Like, a lot of times she gets put in positions and she's like, oh my God, why did I let that happen to me? It's like, yeah, why did you let that happen to you? Why did you win that competition? Are you okay? Like, but when she's able to play it off, it's like she locks that car door, like, boop, boop, and then just everybody forgets what's happening. She's like, yeah, I don't know. It was crazy. I don't know what's going on. Tell me about your alliances. And they're like, what? Tell you about my alliances? She's like, yeah, tell me. And they just start telling her. She's like, all right, can't believe you did that. Next thing you know, she's in there ratting you out. And then they never get mad at her. They're always like, I'm standing next to Victoria. Yeah, except for Goose. Goose, who probably should not have publicly gotten. Anyway, whatever. He would have been fine had it not been his twist. I just love that Victoria's getting away with that. It's very good. Like, I don't, like, for me, it doesn't even come off as like good acting, but I think that it's her persona so far in the house. And so they're just going with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a big part of like how she's played is the perception that she's not a strategic player. And so it's easy for people to underestimate her, I think. And I think that another part of it is like, so her gameplay, we've talked about it. It's very erratic. It's very all over the place. Like, she'll pull in this direction and then be like, I can't believe they're pulling in that direction, and then pull in the opposite direction. And it's almost so illogical that it's impossible to see through, because why would anybody be doing it? And so
this is how I feel like I would play the game, or I would hope I play the game, where people just are like, oh, it's chaotic, messy, da da da. Meanwhile, I'm just like, yeah, correct. Keep thinking that, so you keep me around. Who cares how you end up staying, as long as you end up staying? So I don't care, because everyone is calling her out to her face, and Matt is like, yeah, actually, Goose told me you put my name down, but I don't care. I know you wouldn't do that.
that was a wild call by Matt to relay secondhand information to Spicy before even going and talking to Goose first. Wild.
It's like, how do these people keep getting away with this? This is why we root against people like Vivek. You know, like we see them in those moments and they do something so boneheaded where you're like, yeah, I want you to do well in the game because you seem likable enough, you know. But at the same time, I kind of need you to be punished for this thing that you just did. And so when people like Matt do these things as well, I'm kind of like, I need this to come back to bite you. You know, as much as I would love for the newbies to get the one up on these all-stars, because it's just so tired seeing all-stars do this time and time again. I'm also like, but play better, or
Stand
you should
up.
be punished.
Yeah,
and please stand up. God, for the love of God.
Yeah, and there's a reason they didn't show the full conversation between Goose and Matt in the episode. It's because it was the exact same conversation Goose had with Lexus, in that they had no input and they barely listened to what Goose was actually saying. Goose had a ton of actually useful information for them and was providing them an opportunity for him to be picked up as a number. And they literally were just like, yeah, okay. Good to know. And there's such a stark contrast between that and when Anthony goes in and Anthony's like, oh, let's sit down. Okay, let me hear you out. You're right. They are doing that. Tell me more. What else did they say? Okay, this is what we do. We're gonna file that away. You're gonna be my minion now. And
it's true. Again, for us, right, we get to see the whole chessboard, so I understand. But it's so funny to watch this, because for us, it feels so obvious what he's doing. And it's like, he's playing you so many ways. And they're just like, okay, I'll just get caught in the, they're almost like jumping into his net, right? To just get caught. Be like, this life, it's been a good life, but I'm ready to get caught and just be eaten.
The trap is that Goose was caught in Spicy's net. right? Like, he was caught in there. He was being set up. He was being lied to. He was being used. And he figured it out. He was like, oh my God, I need to get out of this net. And so he leaps out of Spicy's net.
Yes.
And all that's left is Anthony's net. There's no space without a net.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is good. Again,
where's the space without a net? Dennis left with it.
Yeah,
That's it.
He left. You gotta. That's what I say. We have to give them some type of credit for, at least having the sense to fall back in line, because the one that stands out the most is the one that's gonna get dealt with. But I mean, when you put yourself in a situation like this and you're bouncing from this person's ally to their number one ally, it's like, yeah, don't do that. Maybe try something else. And it still baffles me that every time this happens, people don't just assume that the vets are working just hand in hand. These people who know each other in real life outside the game. It'd be different if they got off the show and immediately came back in the house and they never met. They have Instagram pictures together. They've been to parties. They done been on trips. These people they know each other, and so assume that they would work together.
You might say, like, all right, well, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're not super fans. Maybe they're not Izzy level. They haven't seen the Instagrams, right? However, on the most recent drop, there was a conversation between Spicy and Anthony where they were like, damn, we really shouldn't have let it slip that we were like at each other's birthday parties. They're gonna know now. And then Spicy was like, I don't think they're gonna know.
Look at her. She's so funny because tell me she's wrong. That's the thing.
She ain't.
She's like, Anthony, I've been saying so much about you. I don't think they're gonna think I'm with you.
This is what I beg, right? Like, if you're on the show, you just beg that your fave has it this easy. Because what do you mean you're telling them all this stuff and you're just like, yeah, and they could be like, we're married, and we're actually siblings. It don't matter. You could literally say we had the same parents. It does not matter. They're just gonna be like, they must not work together. Why would they? The girls, and he's with the boys, and that's it. That's it. There's no way they could double dip. How dare? How dare?
It should just be a rule of thumb at this point that if someone in the house has even met someone else in the house before the game starts, just assume. Just go for it. Just assume. Look, y'all seen each other on the street. Y'all met one time at Winners, in the line at Winners or something like that. Boom, we're gonna put you up just in case y'all have something that we don't have. We've seen people work together because they were dating their mom's aunt or something like that. And they met one time. What was it? Tommy and Christy was dating or whatever. It's like they barely know each other, and they were just running the house because it was like, okay, at least we can go back with that bond that, hey, we could take this back home for the people that we know, the experience that we are having. But they give V and Dougie the benefit of the doubt. It's just like, but why? What does that do for you exactly?
Chappell, let's not slander the connection that Tommy and Christy. When they looked at each other, they saw home.
I'm sorry, what?
When they looked at each other, they saw home.
I can't hear you. What happened?
When they looked at each other, they saw home, Chappell.
Oh, home. Right. Wow. Okay. Got it. Yes.
Me vote too. Me out.
Look, me too. 6 believable. What did they call themselves?
Undeniable, right?
Yeah.
The Grateful 8. I don't even know. Why do I remember?
No, just Grateful with an A.
Oh, whatever. Like
the Grateful 8 actually would have been better.
Was it Nick?
They were more the Hateful 8. Yeah, at that point, I think. They were just whittling it down to more ridiculous name every number, like Undeniable, Hateful 8. I don't know, never making it to Heaven 7. It was getting bad.
Well, that's reality.
All right. Well, here, let's I'll give a brief overview of what would have happened without the executive veto, because there was a bit of drama there. The vote was there's 11 people, so there's 8 votes. Goose breaks a tie, and the women had 4 votes to keep Todd: Spicy, Kayla, Avery, and Bailey. And so if they wanted to, they could force a tie. And for whatever reason, despite awakening to Spicy's manipulation, Goose was still promising Todd to keep him around over Tola. He has a better relationship with Todd. I think maybe that's why, but it doesn't make a lot of sense given his current position, but doesn't really matter at this point. But he was promising that he was going to be keeping Todd over Tola if it came down to a tie. However, the problem still remained. If they do force a tie to keep Todd against the wishes of Anthony, what does that do to the directors? Because, and quite frankly, what does it do to Hot Chocolate? Because Todd is somebody who has somewhat openly talked about targeting Anthony. And so to keep somebody that's actively targeting Anthony is basically an act of war, saying we are prioritizing our advantage over your safety in the game. And so if they do this, the whole game potentially splits. And is that worth it just for Todd? That was the decision they were having to make. And the way to resolve that is, can we convince Anthony to be okay with it? So Kayla tried to talk to Anthony, got into a little bit of a heated discussion where Anthony was like, no, that doesn't make sense. She basically lets it slip that they're thinking about forcing the tie. Anthony goes back to Spicy. Then they have that conversation about the birthday thing, as well as talk. Yeah, as well as talking about the situation. He's like, Kayla's saying all this stuff, and she's and Spicy, of course, was like, oh, Kayla's the one that wants it in the first place. I don't even want this to happen. I can't believe she's doing all of this. And then went back to Bailey and Avery and said, Kayla ratted us out, and now we have to vote to keep Tola. So basically just kind of calling it off. I think, quite frankly, that she was kind of just using the situation as an opportunity to shut it down. I think Spicy genuinely wanted to keep Todd, but she also didn't want to break up the structure that they had, and used didn't want to have to be the person to make the call to shut it down. So she was able to blame Kayla for it. It's Kayla's fault. Now we don't get to do this, even though we could still absolutely do this. And it doesn't actually change anything. So that was the current state of things heading into this vote, according to the drops, where it was basically just going to be either unanimous or close to it. Bailey probably giving Todd her vote. And Todd was looking like he was going to be heading out the door. But then the executive veto came into play, and now we are here.
Mm-hmm. Just in time for the executive directors. I just feel like my tinfoil hat is on. Sorry, hat.
Yes.
But I just have some conspiracy that this is, like I said, it did feel like they were just giving us a little something. Like the producers just stepped in, because like you said, this was going to happen like this. If you add this specific twist in, it was always going to land on somebody like Victoria being able to control what happens here. Now, convincing Victoria to actually do this, it doesn't even sound like it would be that hard, because she just loves chaos so much. Because there is a world where she just didn't use the power in the first place. But yeah, I don't mind a little. Like I said, when it works out for what I want to see on television, let the producers do what they got to do. Executive direct, executive veto, all that kind of stuff. Make it happen. As long as it saves, the people I want to be saved, or keeps the drama going a little bit longer, I'm okay.
Can we also laugh about why is it the executive veto? Because Arissa explains it, right? She says, okay, it's the executive veto because you use it and other people do your dirty work for you. She's
production.
not wrong,
but right. Is she the executive? Is the executive in the room with us, Sasha?
No, it's the executives doing it, and Arissa has to do and explain to us what's going on.
The people up top made the call. She's just like, yeah, if they veto y'all, what am I supposed to do? Who knows?
She's like, allegedly. I want live feeds too. That's all I can think of.
The executives vetoed it, Sasha. That's what she's telling us. Look, Arissa's talking directly to us through the camera now.
She's like, listen to me. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, the chat's calling it the corporate veto. I appreciate that. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Or the HBO Max veto, where they just take out everything you love.
They're like, Vivek, we know you've filmed an entire movie, but you're not going to get to release it.
We're not airing that. Sorry.
You got a road run out of here.
All right. So where does this leave us? Right, coming into this next HOH, the targets in my mind, and this is where things should stand, but you can never really take anything for granted in a house with Spicy V in it. Where things should stand is that like Anthony, Matt, probably Lexus, Tola, if any of them win, it seems like a pretty obvious target Todd again, target Bailey again, with maybe a side of Goose if like Tola wins because he's not happy with Goose, right? Uh, and then on the flip side, if Spicy, Avery, or Kayla win, it's a pretty obvious target Tola and Goose. Because they want Goose gone after the flip in, flip out. So they are looking in that direction. And then of course Todd and Bailey themselves, I think they would maybe want to take a big shot. But it wouldn't surprise me if they nominated something along the lines of Goose and Tola, where they might be looking at like a backdoor of like Matt or even Anthony. But I would assume it would go to Matt because I think that Spicy, Avery, and Kayla would prefer Matt get backdoored. And then they would actually be able to vote him out. And it just makes a little more sense that way. So that's kind of where I see things standing. With the biggest thing here, of course, is that there's once again kind of 4 people in danger. It's Bailey, Todd, Goose, and Tola. And Hot Chocolate should still be in control. There's no real reason for them to like super split up at this point, even though their objectives are still a bit at odds. I think that's where we stand at the current moment. And I guess the thing is, for as mad as Matt seems about this move, and for as much as like Spicy went against the will of Anthony and all of them in what she did here, the thing about this kind of play is that what can they do about it?
Yeah.
They don't have the relationship with Bailey and Todd, regardless of what happens. They do still have the relationship with Spicy. It's not like they can just drop Spicy and go, Bailey and Todd, we've been working together so well this whole time. They still have to deal with them first. They are still a problem that are in the way, and it doesn't make any sense for them to waste a shot at potential still allies like Avery, Kayla, and Spicy V when those 2 are still standing there. So it does still feel like there's a buffer there. Now on the flip side of things, is Goose and Tola a good enough like shield standing in the way, like obstacle in the way of targeting somebody like Matt? Not quite. There really is a lot more opportunity there for the women to take a premature shot. But it really just depends on who wins the HOH at this point.
I beg Bailey to win. What can I do, right? Like, is there an executive veto for Sasha only? Where I come in and just say, here you go, Bailey.
Could you imagine, like, I don't want to give them any ideas, but like,
No.
the audience gets the chance to veto an HOH result.
No, wait. Oh, yeah. Because listen, me and the Newfoundland, we're together. So actually, yes.
Wouldn't have quite worked on a season like season 10 where anything not Marty.
Together. Me because the thing is, I beg that they don't vote Todd and just vote Bailey. I think me and the Newfoundlanders are, together on that. Like, Bailey's our proxy for Todd.
The voters don't tend to be super strategic about it. They tend to just go blindly into the.
Oh my god! Because imagine Todd's age.
I mean, the way that the audience votes, it's like they would like pump all the votes into Todd, and then Todd wins, and it's like, yeah, you just vetoed his win. They're like, oh wait,
oh damn, y'all said vote for him, so that's what we did. I'm with the audience. I'm like, but I clicked the button. When do we know? I mean, when is the HOH? Like, do we know if there's a HOH competition? Like today? When are they? When are they going to do?
Last night, the executive stuff. This whole thing was filmed last night. As far as we're concerned.
Okay, because I'm trying to figure out why Dennis wasn't at the taping. Because I'm sorry, somebody should have gave him the heads up.
Dennis should have been literally dragged out. It'd be like, We have to pause. Actually, we're gonna tape it tomorrow. If you know, you know. If you don't know, just sit back, relax. And then Dennis needs to be on stage with Arissa, just sipping his tea. I love Arissa's moment, right? It was the Julie Chen slapping
yes,
what
Marcellus,
thank you. Moment, because she's like, so how does it feel to sleep in the bed that you made?
I'm telling you, like, somebody make sure Vivek like gets a good therapist after this, because this guy has been through it.
Be nice, y'all. Okay, we love dumb people. That is what makes the show fun. All right, stop it. We want mess, so you need people like Vivek to go on this show and be like, I'm gonna win the show, and that equals I am gonna be third or fourth out. It's fine. We want mess, so be nice, so that more messy people go on the damn show.
Right. Don't scare
like,
them away.
honestly, like, what an epic, like, because I get it. Like, the way that I think both Dennis and Vivek went out at this point, like, they're both going to be very upset with the way that, you know, everything played out. But like, I do genuinely think that for players in the long run, like, when they're able to look back at the show, when they do go out in like a memorable way and like sort of like this epic storyline, I do think it eventually gives you some kind of like, you know what, at least I contributed to something that was really cool and entertaining. Even if I have to look like the fool, or even if I had to like be at the brunt end of it, like, at least I contributed toward like the show, instead of just kind of like being somebody that unceremoniously, you know, walked out the door because of somebody running the show. You know what I mean? Like,
Correct.
there's something that you can like and like memorable. Like, we're gonna remember Dennis and Vivek. Like, like
hashtag Taran.
The two of them, quite frankly, the two of them need to be on like a redemption island type
fight to the death.
Next time they bring on two returnees, it's Dennis and Vivek.
Yeah,
you know
they
what?
should always go after
they
people
might
like
not work together. First time ever.
How
could they?
Yeah. That might be the new thing that people should be looking for. You do like the person who turned on their ally against all reason, who just screwed up, and then their ally goes out immediately after. Like, that person goes out immediately after, because we've seen the trope a bunch of times. Like, even if you think back to like Fessy and Scotty, you know, it's like,
bless.
Yeah, we were all listen.
Who flipped? Meanwhile, Goose is like flippity flip, and Fessy's like,
flip,
who was flipped?
Who flipped? Who was the flipper? You know, like that kind of stuff. Those are the moments where like, yeah, let those two people just play together. We don't need anybody else. Just put those two in the house.
Agree.
Yeah, there'd be one vote, and they'd be both trying to figure out who did it. You know, it's like, well, duh. But yeah, we've seen this before. I would love that. Pick the people who trust each other the least, who could just never. Because I mean, like you said, no one in this game should be able to trust Vivek at that point. Nobody, not one person. But for his number one ally to be sitting at home watching this, thinking, I was the one person, you know, you got rid of me.
You left me for dead, idiot.
You left me for dead. You left my son for dead.
Please. It's just, I love him, but what a mess.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, and like, here's the thing: if it's any consolation to Dennis, like, this twist probably would have screwed him this week anyway. Like,
yeah, same concept.
He could have gotten so screwed by this twist if he had still been there.
But listen, if Vivek would have listened and, like, you know, put two good players up on the block, maybe they would have been an option for Dennis or Vivek.
Well, that's the thing, is that Dennis probably takes this bullet instead of Vivek.
Or Dennis wins the HOH because he actually was good at challenges. You know.
Well, then it probably still would have been Vivek.
Look, and again, look, no harm, no foul. We would have figured out later on that I was for the greater good. You know, I'm just saying.
There would have been options.
There would have been options. Yeah. One of my favorite things is that when they go in there and they have Vivek in the room, and he's like got his allies in, he's just like, okay, so do we have the votes to save me? And they're like, okay, we might be able to get there. Like, no, he's like, but do I have your votes? They're like, okay, all right, there's two of us. Okay, they said, do I have your votes?
How many votes do we need?
How many votes do we need?
How many? Out
I
of
need
8.
your votes. Do I have the 4 of us? All 4 of us.
Yes.
Can we touch and agree? They're like,
Right.
that's just not going to be enough.
But is there
This
somebody else we could get? Because like Goose, right? Like
yeah. And
Goose.
he goes to Anthony, and Anthony looks him dead in the eyes like, yeah, they're not voting for you. They're not voting for me? Are you voting for me? You don't have the votes. I'm sorry. You're not going to get the votes. You're going home.
And he said, "What do you mean? I don't understand." Right?
don't
Like
understand.
he's giving his best Jennifer Lawrence. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
No,
What do you mean?
I don't understand.
I'm telling
And
like
the height difference killed me. I'm sorry. As a short person, I'm the only person that can say it. But like them standing and he's just like, "Dad, please save me."
I'm telling the only thing that would have made this a better episode is if like after the like maybe after the like last like the deciding vote was read, Vivek just stood up and went like, all right. I mean, I made an alliance with Kayla, Spicy, and Anthony last week to take out Dennis. They promised me that we would be working together, but clearly they have other things going on. So I guess I'm just being used and thrown out.
Literally.
Like, name some names, you know, like
blow up the game.
Yeah.
People don't blow up enough games for me, and that's what pisses me off. That really chaps my ass, because let me tell you something. If you get blindsided the way that this man got blindsided, and he had no allies, these people just completely spun him around and just like threw him out the door, I would be on my way out hugging each person, whispering in someone's ear, saying something else. Like, they're coming for you, right? You just make it up.
Why don't they lie on the way out? Like, is there something in the contract that says you can't do that? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm so confused, because either you freaking quit the game because you don't let them vote you out, because that's so embarrassing. You're crying and hugging them. No, be like, oh, actually, Goose, Anthony told me that you're out, right? I'm lying, but you are. Listen, everyone. Toxic 101, right? You have to sprinkle some truth.
So
that you don't.
That's what Mimi did on her way out the door. She just made up an alliance with.
And it worked. It like threw everybody off. People were like, well, remember that time Mimi said that? And people are like, who is Mimi? Like that kind of stuff sticks with people. Do it. Just do it. It can't hurt you. You already lost the game. Do something. Don't you want to be memorable? I would want those people in the house talking about me 4 weeks later and being like,
thank you.
What about that Chappell bomb he dropped on the way out? We really should think about that again. But nope. Now you just get us laughing at you on here. And you know what? We're happy that you played the game. You did a great job. Again, this is a game that I would never apply to play for, because I'm not crazy. But you
I'm going out first. I know that.
Look, and I'll go embarrass me and my mama and everybody else who love me. So let's just tell you what it is. Yeah, people RHAP covering their face like I don't know him.
We didn't pick him in the draft anyway.
Right, he was dead last in the draft anyway. See my traders win. But yeah, the things that happen here. Look, I'm just saying, when you have these moments, take them, make the best of them. And I feel like he had a good time, so we get somebody to talk about, and people will remember it until the next big thing comes.
And he's a fan, right? Like, this is not some casual they picked up off the street to be like, oh, you're a hot content creator, let's just put you in the damn house. He's talking about, I've seen everything. I have, like every season of internet, it don't matter, blah, blah, blah. I've seen it all. Then stand up, do something. I just don't understand why they hug. Like, the one thing Cody did correct, and that's why his ass got America's favorite player that season. Why? Because he literally long jumped out of the house because he said, couldn't be me. I'm not hugging not one of you.
Or you do the Michael, except the Big Brother Canada house is way too big to pull this off. But you do the Michael and you just start to walk out of the house before you finish your sentence. So he's like walking up the stairs like, I only have one thing to say to you guys.
Yeah.
Peace out, losers. Like that's the kind of stuff I would like to see. Be a sore loser. Why not? These people just played in your face for roughly 30 days. Get your revenge. Treat yourself.
And if it's really important to you to like show some sportsmanship, great. The second you like step out of the door to the other side, like poof. Well, that's over. No hard feelings.
How dumb was I? Yeah, you just gotta be like, oh, I'm dumb, but I couldn't leave. That's how you have to, Arissa, sorry. I know I messed it up, but I couldn't let them have it. And that's all. And you never tweet about the show again.
Never. You don't even know what show this is. People still watch Big Brother. What is that?
You're like, what do you mean? It's still on?
Yeah. And then you come back and play All Stars because you made such a big exit that people want you back. Like, the lore will speak for itself. We need to teach a course, the three of us, with our powers combined, y'all. We could make so much money.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, because Taran would actually give them good advice, but then we come in as a Draymond, right, to the Kevin Durant. We're just but listen.
But also do this other stuff too. Yeah. Make sure you do this stuff.
If you take our course, you're guaranteed to make $750,000. So just buy our course. It's gonna work out great, and then sell it to your friends too.
Come, I will be the MLM queen. Just let me in. But the thing is, you will come back with our foolproof strategy.
Exactly.
You will.
I'll
look how well it worked for us.
Yeah, we did it.
So can you.
Aaron made it just as far as everyone else. What do you mean? Did you go to Todrick's house? Yes. Guess who else made it? Right here. Taran.
Right. Listen, I'll go sit down and have coffee with somebody, find out their marketing strategy, and then, start my own business doing
It might be a little puzzling for all of us, but listen, we could do it.
Yeah,
the point is,
an obstacle of sorts. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, those who can't do teach. So,
so let us
teach you. And the thing is, look around. My toxicity speaks for itself. So I'm teaching you that. Let's not get it twisted.
All right. Anything else we should touch on before we wrap up here?
Join our multi-level. Oh God.
You know what? Like, let's make it happen. You know, if every single person watching this podcast right now signed up for our course,
and sign two other people up.
Us a lot of money, and then you guys, everyone that signs up, then if every one of you sells it to 5 other people, then you'll all get rich after you give us our cut. And then if those 5 people sell the course to another 5, listen,
get in early. That's the key.
Machine.
Yeah, it's not a pyramid, y'all. It's a multi-level marketing. It's more like a chain. You know, like, listen, we just come to the seminar. Matter of fact, everybody in the chat, donate $5 so we can host a seminar. And then at the seminar, you can pay your 5 into it so that we can start to make the money so that you can then bring in your people. You know, it's just gonna go up and like this, to the top. Like not like not in a pyramid per se, but just, like.
No, it's just a little bit, like it's just like a little mountain.
Like a mountain. We love mountains. Mountains.
I've been thinking about this. We don't get enough credit for not selling pyramid schemes to the.
We don't.
You know what? Exactly.
You know how much money we're leaving on the table for our integrity?
Right. Donate money for our integrity. Yeah. Put $5 in the YouTube chat right now for our integrity. Thanks.
Okay, no.
All right, we need to end this podcast.
Listen, we're about to retire off of Rob real quick.
Imagine. Meanwhile, Rob's just looking around. Rob, that's the executive veto. We used it.
Yeah. We'll make more money than the Big Brother Canada winners.
And what?
Oh, all right. Well, that was our executive podcast because we've been cosplaying as executives this whole time.
Legendary.
We'll be back. I will be talking to Vivek tomorrow. So stay tuned for my conversation with Vivek. We'll talk probably about the Pooya curse. We'll talk about his feelings on the Dennis situation. So stay tuned for that. And then the plan is for us to do a podcast on Friday, but that does assume that they actually give us something to talk about. But we should be there on Friday to talk about the new drops and the new HOH and all of that. So stay tuned for that. Of course, check out the Survivor coverage we've got going on. I'm always over there on Twitch watching these episodes live with all of you that decide to hang out. And that's about what I got. Sasha, what do you got going on?
Yes. As for me, I of course cover a pop culture vibes only celebrity gossip podcast with Kirsten McKennis called Mess Magnet. So you can check that out on RHAP as a website /mess feed. And I also with Chappell talk below deck. Listen, we see a lot of y'all in the chat here too. But Chappell and I talk below deck. We're talking season 11. So check that out right here on the Rob as a Podcast YouTube channel, or you can check us out on the Bravo TV RHAP Ups feed. And I cover love and hip hop with Bryce. So check that out on the Purple Pants feed. And not reality related, but I do work for a Black and brown women led nonprofit, and we are hosting this weekend a boundary setting, get your own protect your peace, rather, I should say. So if you're interested, it's completely free. You can go to the link tinyurl.com/dimensions pop-up with the number 2 to sign up if you're a Black and brown woman. And for everything else, just follow me on Twitter at funsize_04.
All right, and Chappell?
You can find me on recapkickback.com primarily now. That is where I host my podcast. You can see the YouTube link right here, youtube.com/@recapkickback to keep up with everything I have going to. Please go and subscribe. We're creeping up on 1,000 subscriptions, y'all. We're not really that close. It's like 650, but we're trying to hit that 1,000 mark soon. So go subscribe to Recap Kickback at Recap Kickback on YouTube. Follow Recap Kickback wherever you get your podcast and on all social media platforms to keep up with all the stuff I'm doing, including this week I have assembled a panel. And so Thursday, you will get my most recent podcast drop covering Cowboy Carter. Yes, I've assembled a panel of the Beehive to talk about Beyonce's latest album. Sasha will be there, as well as Mari and BB Farrow from the Reality Kingdom podcast, and Nicole Weaver from the Black Bi Reality podcast as well. So that is already recorded and should be dropping in a few hours for everybody. So that'll be out for you Thursday. Check that out. Also, Sasha and I have been in talks and in negotiations about talking about more Bravo content over on Recap Kickback. And we're going to be talking about Summer House Martha's Vineyard. I've watched it, I've caught up, and I have opinions. And so Sasha and I are going to try to bring that to you as soon as possible. I'm also covering Abbott Elementary over there with Gia Worthy. So I got a lot going on Recap Kickback. Make sure you follow me over there. And then on RHAP, still doing Survivor coverage with Rob. Every week we do Club Condo, but this week Rob is going to be out. And so I had to call in some substitutes. And so Maggie Morgan and Brian Scally will be on the next episode of Club Condo. So check that out. Make sure you subscribe to RHAP. You'll get that. You'll get the Deal or No Deal Island coverage with Jenny and Rob and myself. Also, my exit interviews from Deal or No Deal Island, eliminated contestants, all that and more if you follow and subscribe in all those places.
All right. Well, that is what we have for you then tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us. And we'll flip and see you next time, all right?